sprinkler systems, which the industry began getting into in the mid-'60s, for the early '60s to mid-'60s, after a couple of very devastating black frost situations that one of them killed half the crop in Massachusetts. My uncle, who was running the company at the time, didn't want to spend that kind of money. That's kind of crazy. And I was convinced that it would be a good thing to do. There was this old timer who marketed agricultural equipment, and he talked me into going with him up to Concord, Massachusetts. There was a farmer up there that was going bankrupt, and they were auctioning off all his equipment and had a lot of antiquated sprinkler heavy pipes and sprinkler heads and pumps and motors and all of that stuff. And we went up there, and I was able to buy about 5 acres worth of equipment very cheaply. And I came back and I put it onto a cranberry bog that we had here in Carver. And that bog hadn't grown a berry or very few berries for many years, because back then we were flooding bogs, and the water supply up there only allowed us to put about 2 floods, maybe 3 at the most, on that particular bog in the spring before we ran out of water, because we'd use it and then release it and it would go downstream. After the first 3 floods, you get another frost and it would kill the crop. I put this antiquated system with different size heads and pipes that didn't really fit together until we did some work on them at the shop. One of my most satisfying moments as a grower was the first night we had a frost with that thing, and I had an old pump and an old engine, and the only way you could prime the pump so that it would suck the water up and kick the system on was to cover the exhaust system of the motor, and you'd hold that cap down and then you'd release it, and it would either catch or not catch. I couldn't catch the prime, and the temperature was dropping and dropping. So finally it kicked on just in time. And it was a beautiful sight to see the bright moon shining on those sprinklers that were throwing water around. That year, we picked an abnormally big crop, 350 barrels to the acre. The bog had been rested all these years, hadn't produced a crop, and then just kicked out a major crop. Well, my uncle, after seeing that, he says, "I want every bog we got under sprinklers next year." I said, "Wait a minute, we got 200 or 300 acres of bog. I can't do that in 1 year."